very warm welcome and a big hello from Team Veris. So first up, we take you through a brief overview of our product ecosystem, and later on is when the fun begins. We make you experience the product up close and personal. Part 1, we have the Veris terminal, which allows your visitors to come in at your reception desk and self-check in themselves. Part 2, we have the Veris user app, which allows employees to A. pre-invite their guests and B. use the visitor badge as their digital ID. Finally, we have Part 3, which is the Veris dashboard. This allows your backend and management teams to use the dashboard as a control center and analyze whatever happens at your premises in real time.
Over the past years of having garnered expertise in the visitor management space, Veris has spent time in carefully analyzing, researching and identifying the 3 most common use cases across the visitor management space. Use case number 1 is the walk-in visitor use case, where I walk in as a visitor to the venue or host organization having a pre-scheduled meeting but without a pre-invite code that I have received in advance. Use case number 2 is the pre-invited visitor use case, in which case I have a pre-scheduled meeting in advance and additionally also have received a pre-invite QR code before entering the venue organization. The final use case or use case number 3 is the request a meeting use case, in case of which I do not in fact have a pre-scheduled meeting at the host organization and therefore go at the venue and request a meeting from there itself. Let's begin with the first use case, which is that of a walk-in visitor. And let's assume that I, Divya, have come to the Veris office to meet Anup Punya, who is my host for the day. I go ahead, walk up to the Veris reception, to the Veris terminal. I input my mobile number or my email ID. Since this is both an email and mobile first platform, I go ahead and input my number. And since we have international phone facility, irrespective of my nationality, I will receive an OTP on my phone, which I will input here. The OTP acts as the first line of verification. I select my general visitor category since I've come here before. All my data can be auto-fetched. I input a live picture if I'd like that. I go ahead and then choose Anoop's name from the host dropdown by inputting 3 initials of his name. I then sign the visitor NDA and then get my instantly printed visitor badge, which is both available online as well as physically, and therefore my check-in is now complete. I then simply go ahead and seat myself at the lounge or the waiting area as my host Anup Punya gets instantly notified on SMS and email about my arrival. He opens his email, which gives him the detailed view of my arrival from my name, number, email, why I have come here, and can also have a 2-way response back to me where he tells me to wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or help myself to a coffee as I wait at the waiting area. Once he does that, I get notified as well as your front office, who can also further communicate to the visitor. Once my meeting is successfully over, I go back to the Veris terminal and then check myself out by inputting my phone number or the QR code which is present on my e-badge or physically printed badge. And with this, my checkout is successful and the walk-in check-in comes to an end. Anup here wants to pre-invite me for a meeting at the Veris office. So he goes ahead and goes to the Veris app, which is very easily downloadable on his mobile phone. And since it is synced with his contact book, he simply selects my contact info from this contact book, which contains both my email ID and phone number. He selects the preferred date, time, and duration for this meeting. He then selects the preferred venue that he has access to across the different branches of the host organization and simply creates this invite. As a visitor, I now receive both an email and an SMS notification containing this detailed pre-invite from Anup Punya, containing all his details as of time, name, duration, even the meeting room where this meeting is at. And as you can see, I have a QR code as well as an option to web check-in in advance. This means I can begin registration and complete the entire check-in process way before I walk into the premises. The host organization can choose to also add additional features such as guest Wi-Fi passwords, the GPS location of the host organization, as well as an e-cafe or cafe access, and any other additional features that they might want to add. Once I have completed my web check-in, I can also have a look at the detailed visitor rules and regulations so that I can prepare before I come to the venue. Once my web check-in is complete, I come the next day for the meeting, come to the Veris terminal at the reception, press the check-in button, and simply go on I have QR and scan this QR code that I have received on my email or my SMS. Once I scan this QR code, it auto-fetches all the information that I have already filled as part of my web check-in process. And therefore, my check-in time goes from 20 to 25 seconds to as swift and as less as 5 seconds. Coming to use case number 3, where I, Divya, do not have a pre-scheduled meeting with my host Anup Punya but want to request the same, and hence I go to the Veris terminal and request a meeting with Anup Punya. I go ahead and fill in the request a meeting form by filling in my visitor details, I then simply select Anoop's name by typing in his first 3 initials from the host drop-down, select a preferred time, a duration for the meeting, as well as a meeting agenda. I could also input whether I would like to carry a mobile phone or not, and once that is complete, I have successfully checked in and requested for a meeting. The moment I have completed this request, Anoop receives a mail with my detailed visitor information to which he can respond with an acceptance or rejection. If he accepts or approves the same, I will receive a notification with an invite QR code which I can then use to check in on the premises. In case he denies my meeting, the front office will be receiving a notification of the same and can communicate with the visitor accordingly. This brings us to the end of the request a meeting visitor use case. I would especially like to highlight and pinpoint our offline mode, which comes to the rescue in case the host organization is having any issues with the internet connectivity. This use case comes extremely handy since in case the internet connectivity is causing issues, it ensures that the front office can simply switch to the offline mode. The visitor can still input his or her data by inputting her phone number, her visitor information, her user photo, getting a printed badge, and ensuring that no visitor data is ever lost. The moment the iPad is connected back to the internet, all this visitor data then gets synced to our central database online. And hence, it ensures that the process is as seamless as though you have the internet already on. The two things that are not available in the offline use case, since there is no server interaction, would be no OTP as well as host notification. Everything else is just the same. Coming to the third and final part of the Veris product ecosystem, which is called the Veris dashboard. So let's begin here. We fondly call this part of the ecosystem as the playground of all admin, security, facilities, as well as any other back-end teams of your organization who are spending day and night and ensuring that nothing wrong goes on in your organization and that your facilities are truly protected at all points in time. Starting with part 1, we give them a summary of what's happening at their organization in real time in one screen itself. This is called as the dashboard light. So this part actually shows us whoever has checked in, checked out, overstayed meaning people who have come for 1 hour but have stayed for much longer than this duration. Coming to the next part, of the process. This is called the Veris Advanced Dashboard. The Advanced Dashboard gives us a graphical summary of what's going on my premises. So it can actually tell me in graphical mode in real time and also give me live feed. It keeps also giving me the count. As you can see, if I have 7 offices pan India and 20 offices pan global, I can really choose which venue I want to select and see data about. As you can see a bold red button here called the fire list option. The fire list option here gives us a truly utility-driven and value-creating feature, and it's one of my most favorite features on the dashboard. This is the place from which I can instantly broadcast messages to everyone who's checked in on my premises, whether it's visitors or employees. God forbid an unfortunate circumstance such as an earthquake scare ends up happening at your premises, it's your duty as an administration or security team to inform every visitor who's checked in, which was never possible through a simple logbook, since you could never possibly tell them in one go as to what's happening at your premises. But here with this feature, you can type that customized message, simply click broadcast, and everyone at your venue receives it in that second itself. Coming to the next page, which is truly integral to the system and this dashboard, it's the Detailed Activities tab. The Detailed Activities tab tells me every detail of every person who enters the premises. So if I want to see details regarding Rishabh, who's come to meet Divya at the premises, I can do that just with a click of a button. From his photo to his signature to his badge. All these details are also downloadable as reports here, which can be also filter based. These are called advanced filters. I can put filters as to the status, the venue, dates, etc. and simply download these reports within 10 seconds from the download center here. Coming to the next part, which is the Invites tab. The Invites tab is value creating because of 2 reasons. A, when group check-ins happen in an organization, it can become very difficult to have each one of them check in fresh and new when they walk in. That would lead to a number of queues at your reception desk. On the other hand, why it's helpful is that at many points in time, you would like to already send invite codes to that entire group so that you can give them the option of web checking in advance to make their process express when they walk in. And that's what your admin and HR teams can do from the Invites tab. They can create bulk invites by uploading CSV files about the group who's checking in so that our systems automatically send them pre-invites, or also send them VVIP guest invites from here and keep that pass pre-printed in advance. I'd now like to come towards the end of the dashboard summary and tell you a few key highlights of the dashboard. One is the workflow screen. The workflow screen has been built specifically to empower your admin teams to change anything that they would like to change on our product from the back end itself in one go and almost in a few minutes. If this is what they see right now on the front end of the terminal, they can change it tomorrow by deleting a category or adding a new category. They can also change the workflow per category simply by dragging and dropping the same. That's how easy we have made the same.
As we move towards the end of the product ecosystem, I would like to highlight 4 key features in the product. Feature number 1 here is Smart Rules. We have an existing feature called Smart Rules, which help client organizations put differential, advanced and hierarchical rules, which means that employee group number 1 could be allowed to call anybody at any venue across the country or the globe in any office, while some employees can only invite people or guests to the office at which they are stationed. Employees can also be given smart advanced rules with respect to Wi-Fi access, RFID access, as well as e-cafe access that they might want to extend to their visitor. The moment they try to do that, a trigger is sent to their superiors, and only when the superior accepts this request can their visitor be granted any special access. Coming to feature number 2, that is the meeting over feature or meeting extend feature. This gives complete control to your host to ensure that they can also extend a meeting beyond the duration which is fixed in advance. Coming to feature number 3, that is overstay alert, which ensures that in case a visitor overstays his or her duration, your front office teams and security teams are informed not just on a dashboard but also through instant SMS and email notifications to check on this visitor. The final and the feature number 4 would be the blacklist or watchlist feature, which states that if a blacklisted visitor tries to enter your organization, not is only your dashboard popped up with a notification, but your front office and security teams are instantly notified on SMS and email, and this visitor is also barred to enter the Veris terminal. This brings us to the end of a very comprehensive and power-packed product ecosystem. So this, for all of you, was Veris in a snapshot. As you all must have guessed by now, we love to talk. So go ahead and ask us as many questions as you'd like and just shoot. We're right here to help you out through the process. And in the end, signing off, we can't wait and are super excited to transform your visitor experience.